Welcome to Agni, Artificial Guru for Next Intellectual. In today's class, we are going to understand one of the most important foundations of political science, Plato's ideal state. This topic is extremely important for UGCNET political science, UPSC and other competitive examinations. Now, before we move deep into the topic, let us first understand the basic idea behind Plato's political thought. On the last slide, we introduced the topic. Now, moving to the next slide, let us begin with Plato's background. Plato was a Greek philosopher, student of Socrates, and teacher of Aristotle. But more than a philosopher, he was a political reformer. His thinking was deeply shaped by the political crisis of Athens, especially the execution of Socrates by democratic decision. Plato felt that when ordinary people ruled based on emotions, not wisdom, the state could collapse. From this political instability, he imagined a perfect state, an ideal state, where justice, harmony, and moral order guide everything. Now, moving to the next slide, let us understand the core idea. Plato believed that society can only be harmonious when every individual works according to their natural ability. He compared the state to the human soul. Just as the soul has three parts, reason, spirit, and appetite, the state too must have three classes. A just person is one whose soul is balanced. Similarly, a just state is one where each class performs its natural role without interfering in others' roles. On the last slide, we understood Plato's soul state analogy. Now let us see how this leads to the three classes of the state. Plato divided society into three groups. First, the ruling class, those gifted with highest wisdom and reasoning. Second, the guardian or warrior class, those who naturally embody courage and discipline. Third, the producing class, farmers, artisans, traders, those whose primary ability lies in physical work and production. Plato's idea was simple. When reason rules, courage protects, and appetite produces, society becomes stable and just. This structure is not based on birth, but on ability and education. Modern meritocracy somewhere reflects Plato's influence. Now, this brings us to a very famous and very exam-relevant concept, the Philosopher King. Plato argues that only those who truly understand knowledge, truth, ethics, and the nature of justice should rule. He believed rulers should not desire power. Rather, they should accept power as a responsibility. Plato famously said, "Until philosophers become kings or kings become philosophers, cities will never have rest from their evils." From UPSC to NET, this is one of the most asked questions, and the reason is clear. Leadership based on wisdom is still a global debate, whether in politics, bureaucracy, or public administration. On the last slide, we explored the concept of philosopher kings. Now, moving forward, let us understand Plato's rigorous education system. Plato designed a layered education model extending almost 50 years. The purpose was not just academic training, but moral purification, physical development, mathematical reasoning, and ultimately dialectical thinking. He believed that only long-term, disciplined education can filter the truly wise from the rest. This system is almost like today's modern civil service training, where only the best undergo the most advanced stages of training. Now, coming to the most important part, what is justice according to Plato? Plato says justice is simply everyone doing their own work. Justice is harmony. Justice is order. Justice emerges when no class interferes in another class's function. A just state is not one with maximum rights, but one with maximum harmony. This is why his model is often compared to a perfectly tuned orchestra, where even one wrong note can disturb balance. To understand this better, let us take a real-life example. Think about a hospital. Doctors treat, nurses assist, administrative staff manages data, and technicians handle equipment. If a technician starts diagnosing patients, or if a doctor begins doing biometric data entry, the entire system collapses. Plato's logic is the same. Specialization is justice. So far, we have discussed the main features of the ideal state. Now, let us look at the criticisms. Plato has been called anti-democratic because he favored rule by a select few. His idea of abolishing private families for guardians was considered unrealistic. Modern thinkers also believe that concentrating power in a small group can lead to authoritarianism. Yet despite these criticisms, Plato remains the father of Western political philosophy. Before we end, let us quickly revise everything we learned today. Plato's ideal state is built on harmony, specialization, wisdom-based leadership, and a structured education system. The three classes reflect the three parts of the soul. And justice, according to Plato, means everyone doing their natural duty. So in today's class, we clearly understood what Plato's ideal state is, how it functions, and why it continues to be important in modern political analysis as well as competitive examinations. In the next class, we will move towards Aristotle and his theory of the state, which builds further on Plato but also corrects many of his ideas. Point. If you found this lecture helpful, do like the video, comment your doubts, and subscribe to Agni for more structured and conceptual political science learning. Thank you, and see you in the next class.